Think about the last meticulously crafted, detailed message you sent to your team. You gathered the data, polished the argument, and hit send. But did the person on the other end actually read it, or did they quietly skim the first line and blindly acknowledge it? Most professionals diagnose their inbox fatigue as a problem of sheer volume. They believe there are simply too many emails. They are wrong about the diagnosis. The real issue is a hidden tax paid by the reader in attention and cognitive load. Historically, communication length had a strict natural constraint. Writing a long message cost the writer real time and deliberate effort. Distilling a complex argument meant understanding the topic well enough to decide exactly what survives and what gets cut. That friction served a specific purpose. It turned long emails into a proxy for importance. When a dense message arrived, it carried the weight of the work it took to produce, signaling to the reader that the content deserved their focus. Length guaranteed effort, which in turn commanded attention. Today, that implicit contract between writer and reader has been secretly voided. Generative AI tools are programmed by default to provide context, acknowledge nuance, and cover edge cases. This split screen compares the 60 seconds an AI takes to generate a 1,500-word analysis against a human typing a single sentence. The cost of producing those 1,500 words is now mathematically identical to the cost of producing a 150-word brief. This created an immediate, invisible disconnect. The writer's production costs disappeared overnight, but the cognitive limits of the person receiving that email remained entirely unchanged. The modern inbox is not failing because people stopped caring about their work. It is failing because the cost of length became completely free, and nobody warned the reader. To see the immediate fallout of this broken signal, we can look at data from Litmus, an analytics company that tracked more than 10 billion distinct email opens over a multi-year period. This graph shows average read time dropping from 13.4 seconds in 2018 to 9 seconds in 2022. 9 seconds is 37 words, just a subject line and opening sentence. Furthermore, 71% of emails are closed in under 8 seconds. Data from a Boomerang study of 40 million emails confirms this behavior. Peak engagement occurs when an email is between 75 and 100 words. Once a message exceeds 2,500 words, response rates fall off a cliff. Reading anything past the very first sentence now requires the reader to make a conscious, active choice to continue. The data proves they rarely make that choice. This bar chart compares word counts to estimated retention. Comprehension degrades severely, dropping into the 30s once an email crosses 1,500 words. Decisions based on these long documents are often poor because the reader retains only a fractured, incomplete version of the context. Sending a long email guarantees you are only delivering half a message, leaving the surviving facts entirely up to chance. The physical cause of this communication failure is rooted in cognitive load theory. Established by educational psychologist John Sweller, this theory states that human working memory has a hard, non-negotiable ceiling for processing new information simultaneously. This diagram illustrates that limitation. A person can hold 3 to 7 distinct pieces of information at once. When an email contains more than that, the brain cannot accommodate the overflow. The excess blocks simply bounce off and dissolve. The brain discards them. The most dangerous aspect of this biological limit is that the discarding process is invisible. The reader continues moving their eyes across the text, genuinely believing they are absorbing the material. Skim reading is an automatic biological adaptation. In a high-volume environment, the brain protects itself by sacrificing substance for pace, extracting the approximate shape of an argument without retaining the details. Because generative AI produces highly comprehensive text by default, it acts as a direct attack on the biological defense mechanisms of the reader's brain. This diagram shows exactly where information dies within a document, mapped out by the Primacy-Recency effect. This is a cognitive phenomenon where human memory naturally prioritizes the beginning and end of a sequence, creating high retention at the top and bottom and a dark dead zone across the entire middle. The writer's most crucial information, the supporting evidence, the methodology, and the core action item buried in paragraph 8, falls directly into this structural dead zone. When an action item is missed, the sender writes a longer follow-up email to provide more context. This creates a compounding cycle of longer emails and lower retention, which ultimately erodes trust in the sender. A 150-word email read completely delivers vastly more actual information to the human brain than a 1,500-word email read at an impaired 40% retention rate. Using AI to generate more words does not equate to more communication. Mathematically, it guarantees less.